Well, hello. This is Betty Pino for Channel 18. I'm very privileged and very happy to have two friends visiting us here, and I'm going to introduce them as the Harwich USA, UK, United Kingdom Band Concert Committee. We'll elaborate on that. First off, I'd like to introduce Jewel Buchwald. Say hello.
Hello, Betty. Thank you very much. It's nice to be with you again.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful to be with both of you. And former Selectman Larry Cole. And Larry.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Larry, I'm going to give you the mic, and I'd like you to explain just what's going on here.
Well, we're going to be visited on the last 2 days of July and the first 2 days of August, this coming summer, by a group called the Royal British Legion Brass Band, composed of musicians and accompanying family members from Harwich, England, and Portsmouth, two coastal towns. It's our sister town. We've had an official relationship with them since 1985. And Jewel has traveled over there when we have had official delegations from here to there. And there have been official delegations from there that came for Harwich Tricentennial. Is that the right word?
Tricentennial. I'm sorry. The
Bicentennial, okay. There will be about 55 people traveling. About 36 of them are band members. They're going to be performing jointly with the Harwich Town Band, and that's how it came about. They contacted us and said they'd like to come. They're going to be going from here to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, then to Boston, then to New York City, then to Washington. They're going to be playing concerts, and they're going to be sightseeing and shopping and visiting the colonies, as it were. So our committee is, and is a lot more than Jewel and me, are helping with the logistics of the arrangements here. Mm-hmm. So there'll be a concert Monday night at the Tech School, jointly with the Harwich Town Band. And then Tuesday evening, when the Town Band has its usual Brooks Park concert, weather permitting, the two bands will perform there. Mm-hmm. If weather doesn't permit, then they'll perform here in the multipurpose room at the community center.
Oh, wonderful. You mentioned a couple of things I'm going to elaborate on. Your committee includes many other committees. Do you want to just mention, give them a little credit for who is the whole committee?
Okay, the committee is comprised of several members of the town band, the director, Peter Cobb, Cynthia McGalliard, the secretary, and various band members, Gail and Marshall, Bob Marshall, Dot Hemmings. Beyond that, we have Peg Rose from the Arts, Friends of the Arts. We have Rose Ann Clark from the Harwich Cultural Council. We have Larry, who is the chairman of the committee and is also a veterans representative. And myself, I guess I just consider myself the liaison between Harwich USA and the UK. I've had a long relationship with them, and somehow I always continue to be involved and thoroughly enjoy it. But I think we are in for a special treat. I had the good fortune of seeing the band that we are going to see when I visited UK last May. So I have met their director and did hear part of their band concert, and we certainly are in for a real treat. And again, that date, or the date we want to mark our calendars, is Monday, August 1st, 7 o'clock at the Tech School, and that will be a joint concert. And again, there will be a town band concert on Tuesday, August 2nd at Brooks Park, or if the weather is not good, here at the community center.
Just a little background. Since you've been to Harwich, did I say it right? England, tell the audience just about where Harwich is, and as our sister community in the UK, the comparisons between the two. Just a little tip of the iceberg.
Well, I believe that Harwich is west of London. It's about 2.5 hours from London. And it is a coastal community. We like to think that we're similar. Of course, they border on the North Sea, and they do a lot with shipping. They have a ferry service that goes between Holland and Harwich. People take the ferry back and forth to Holland, and they come from Holland on their way to London. So I guess we could compare it to Nantucket and Harwich. I don't know. But anyway, they're very similar. The industries and the people, the history, we go back a long way. Shipbuilding, fishing, that type of thing. So.
Larry, you have 55 people coming from the Royal British Legion Brass Band. Did you help with any accommodations? Let us in a little bit on just what we can expect with this joint concert.
Well, a member of the band had been to the United States last fall and last summer and did some scouting. And they made some lists of places that they might want to stay. Then they got online, as everyone does today, and checked things out. And then they asked me to go check out a few places physically. I did that. We had hoped to have them reside here in Harwich, but it's at the height of the season. There's 55 of them. They're on a budget, and we just couldn't find a place in town. We tried very hard working through the chamber and the local hospitality association. Just didn't work out, so they're going to be staying at a motel called the Ambassador in Bass River. That's as close as we could get them. They will have some free time on 2 different days, part of which in Harwich to see the sights. We're going to have them tour Harwich Center and the Brooks Academy Museum. At that time, the Cahoon exhibit will be on. The permanent Cranberry Industry exhibit, and I think the model railroad exhibit will still be there. And then they're going to have the afternoon free to go to the beach, walk downtown. We may take them to a side trip somewhere if they're interested in going somewhere else on the Cape. But they'll be touring. They'll be doing a bus tour on Sunday of Harwich, and they're going to have an evening dinner in Harwich. Very graciously, and I should say generously, Boots Gregg from Bishop's Terrace has offered to put on a buffet for them.
Wonderful.
For that Sunday evening.
Yes.
So we're certainly going to do that. So they will be around town. There's going to be a rehearsal going on and so on.
Now, we're going to have some more information for you as the time gets closer. But I want Larry and Jewel, we've got another exciting little bit of information going on here. Do you want to elaborate a bit more on the Women's Club and that? Yeah. Just touch on it because I'd like to keep the audience in suspense as to what's going on, because possibly we'll come back and tell you more as the details evolve. I'll turn it over to Larry.
Well, it turns out that the wife of one of the musicians who will be traveling is a member of a family that was adopted, quote unquote, in 1949, in July of 1949, by the Harwich Women's Club. It was a family who lost the husband and father during World War II. And England was in tough shape for several years after the war. Rationing and coupons continued. Food was still relatively scarce. So the Women's Club adopted the family because the children were orphans, and in particular they adopted the older boy, William George Leggett, who is now 75 and alive, and not well enough to make the trip. Their relationship continued for several years, and up until the marriage of the lady who's coming. And she would like to meet with any descendants of the members of the Women's Club in Harwich who were involved in that event. And we have located one such lady in Harwich. And we're trying to locate some more. And I have some names of women who were involved at that time in hopes that some of their descendants are still in town. One was a Mrs. Ralph H. Snow, and then Mrs. Ralph B. Snow. Also, Mrs. Eugene McCarthy, who lived in a house called Rosemound on Shore Road in West Harwich. There was a Mrs. Florence Clark. She is the lady who wrote Georgina, Mrs. Georgina Leggett, on the occasion of her wedding. And the Women's Club, you may understand this, sent 2 after-dinner silver spoons as wedding gifts. There was also a Mr. and Mrs. Howard Corey, a Mrs. Ernest S. Levitt, a Mrs. Fred Kroll Jr., a Mrs. John Capeless, and a Mrs. Alfred Hunt. And one of the things that you'll notice is none of these married, only one of these married ladies had a first name of her own, because in the 1949-50 era, in the Harwich Independent and in the Central Cape Press, that's the way married ladies were cited.
By the husband's
Yes.
first name.
Anyway,
Very interesting.
as I say, we've located a Nancy Snow Lowry, who is the granddaughter of Mrs. Ralph Snow, who actually visited Harwich and met the Leggett family when she and her cousin went to attend the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Now, the rest of it we'll keep in suspense.
Yes, I think so. Jewel, what do you think? You're searching records and...
Yes, we're busy searching records, but I think we should commend Larry because he really has been so articulate and has delved into the history and made so many contacts. And yes, we will keep you in suspense. More to follow.
More to follow, as they say, film at 11. Thank you for watching, and if anyone might have some information, please contact Larry. You could get through to Larry through Channel 18 or Jewel Buckwald if you have any idea about the previous Women's Club and so forth. But we'll be back, so stay tuned. Thank you very much.